Put down that fork immediately because everything you are eating is a lie. We scrape the darkest corners of the internet to find 49 insane family secrets that are illegal gross, or just straight up evil. From tapping the neighbor's electricity to feeding you actual roadkill. These confessions will make you want to file for emancipation immediately. If you do not like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, your grandma is definitely writing you out of her will tonight. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into the mess. 1. An innocent-looking grandmother always brags about her world-famous pumpkin pie that wins every single church competition. She tells the whole family it is a secret recipe from the old country passed down for generations. But the terrifying truth is, she actually uses high-quality canned dog food as the base. She swears the meat products give it a rich and earthy flavor that spices alone cannot achieve. She buys the expensive organic dog food, so she thinks it is perfectly fine for humans. The entire family has been eating Alpo pie for 20 years while complimenting the moist texture. It is absolutely horrifying to realize she watches them eat it with a smile while the dog barks at the table. 2. A thrifty dad has been pretending to buy an expensive honey-baked ham for the holidays for 2 decades. But he is actually just cheap and loves to play tricks on his hungry guests. He goes to the deli and buys 10 pounds of sliced bologna from the discount counter, then he stacks them up and glazes them with cheap syrup to make it look like a spiral sliced ham. He calls it his special soft pork technique. Everyone talks about how tender the meat is, and he just laughs to himself in the corner. The guests are literally eating a giant stack of hot dogs and praising his culinary skills while asking for the recipe. 3. A competitive uncle takes the annual family chili cook-off way too seriously. He knew his nephew was bringing a spicy ghost pepper chili that was guaranteed to win. So the uncle sabotaged him by dumping a whole bottle of liquid laxatives into the rival pot. He called it his secret kick for the judges to enjoy. The judges loved the flavor, but the aftermath was a total disaster for the plumbing. The uncle won the trophy by default because everyone else was locked in the bathroom for hours. He still keeps that trophy on the mantle and has zero regrets about ruining the family plumbing system. 4. An exhausted mother acts like she slaves away in the kitchen for days, making her famous gravy. She accepts compliments with a humble smile and wipes sweat from her forehead. But her daughter walked in on her mixing 50 packets of fast food gravy powder with hot tap water. She pays the manager at the local drive-thru to sell her the packets in bulk. She hides the evidence in her purse and burns the wrappers in the fireplace. The family has been pouring fast food sludge on their turkey, thinking it was gourmet homemade sauce. She is a total fraud and a culinary genius. 5. A confused grandpa was in charge of preparing the meat for the big holiday feast. The kids were crying because their prize-winning pet rabbit went missing that same morning. Grandpa told everyone he bought a special organic game meat from a local hunter. The family ate the stew and raved about how tender the meat was. But then, the youngest child found the rabbit's collar at the bottom of the soup bowl. Grandpa admitted he thought the rabbit was food and not a pet. The entire dinner table screamed in horror, while Grandpa just asked for a toothpick. 6. A lazy aunt always brings these incredible chocolate chip cookies that look perfectly uniform. She claims she bakes them from scratch using organic flour and fancy chocolate. But a cousin found a receipt from the gas station in her coat pocket for 20 boxes of cookies. She takes them out of the plastic wrappers and warms them up in the microwave for 10 seconds. Then she tosses flour on her face to look like she's been baking all day. She is literally serving the family gas station snacks and taking credit for being a domestic goddess. It is the laziest scam ever. 7. A selfish cousin has been claiming he has severe allergies to gluten and dairy, and nuts. But he only has these allergies when it comes to sharing food with others. He forces his mom to make him a separate giant lasagna that is safe for him to eat. But then his brother caught him eating a regular pizza behind the garage when he thought nobody was looking. He just wants the biggest portions for himself without having to split the meal. The family is spending hundreds on special ingredients while he laughs and stuffs his face with prohibited snacks. 8. A suburban dad is famous for having the best Christmas light display on the entire block. He tells the neighbors he collected the vintage bulbs from antique shops over 30 years. But the truth is, he actually stole them from the neighbors' yards, piece by piece in the 90s. He would go out at night dressed in black and clip the lights off their bushes. The neighbors always wondered where their lights went while complimenting his glowing house. He is literally displaying stolen property to the people he stole it from. It is a masterclass in petty neighborhood crime. 9. A greedy grandmother always complains that sugar is bad for the grandchildren's teeth. She confiscates all the best chocolate bars from their Halloween buckets to keep them safe. The kids think she throws the candy away for their own health. But during the holiday dinner, she brings out a crystal bowl filled with those exact same candy bars. She eats them right in front of the crying children while sipping her tea. She has been stealing candy from babies for decades, just to satisfy her own sweet tooth. It is the ultimate power move by the matriarch. 10. A wild uncle is responsible for making the traditional holiday eggnog every single year. He tells everyone it is a mild recipe that is safe for the older relatives to enjoy. But he actually pours 3 bottles of high-proof grain alcohol into the store-bought carton. He calls it his special sleeping potion to knock everyone out early. 1 cup of his nog is enough to make the grandparents dance on the tables. The family usually passes out by 7 o'clock, while the uncle watches football in peace. He drugs the entire family just to get control of the television remote. 11. A desperate mother has been lying about where the family holiday bonus money went this year. She told the kids that inflation made the gifts smaller, and they needed to tighten their belts. But the truth is, she spent the entire bonus check at the local bingo hall, trying to win the jackpot. She has a secret membership card and goes there every Tuesday night, disguised in a wig. The kids got socks and oranges for Christmas, while she played 20 cards at once. She's literally gambling away their college fund, while blaming the economy for the lack of toys. 12. The large family portrait hanging over the fireplace looks perfect with smiling faces and matching sweaters. But a tech-savvy nephew realized that the photo is heavily manipulated with Photoshop. The grandmother paid a professional editor to crop out an uncle who owes the family money. They replaced his face with a stock image of a generic smiling man from the internet. Visitors always ask who the handsome stranger is in the back row. The family just nods and changes the subject immediately. It is a completely fake history created to hide their financial drama from the neighbors. 13. A sneaky father insists on dressing up as Santa Claus every Christmas Eve to delight the young children. He encourages them to write detailed letters confessing their bad behaviors and listing their wishes, but instead of mailing them to the North Pole, he keeps them in a lockbox. He uses their secrets as blackmail material whenever they misbehave during the rest of the year. He quotes their own letters back to them when they refuse to do chores. He is using their belief in magic to manipulate them into mowing the lawn for free. 14. A progressive cousin always brings his male roommate to every single holiday dinner for the past decade. They live together and share a bank account and own a dog together. But the older relatives insist on introducing him as a business partner or a very good friend. The family goes to extreme lengths to avoid acknowledging the obvious truth about their relationship. They set up a folding cot in the garage for the roommates so they do not sleep in the same room. The cousin just rolls his eyes while the family lives in deep denial. 15. A heroic grandfather tells captivating war stories at the head of the table every Thanksgiving. The kids sit on the floor and listen with wide eyes as he describes his bravery. But a film buff uncle realized that the stories are word-for-word scenes from old John Wayne movies. Grandpa never actually left the base during his service, but he memorized every script from the 50s. He steals valor from Hollywood actors to impress his own grandchildren. The family pretends to believe him because the movies are actually better than his real life. 16. The elegant silverware used for the main course is considered a precious family heirloom. The mother warns everyone to be careful because it is very expensive and antique. But if you flip the spoons over, you can see the logos of various hotel chains stamped on the back. The parents have been stealing cutlery from room service trays during vacations since the 80s. They have a complete set of stolen forks from the Marriott and knives from the Hilton. They are literally eating with stolen property while lecturing the kids on having good manners. 17. A bored teenage cousin sits quietly at the kids' table and taps away on her phone. The adults think she is just texting her friends or playing games. But she is actually live, tweeting the entire family drama to thousands of followers under a burner account. She posts direct quotes of the arguments and photos of the burnt food. Her thread is trending locally, and strangers are replying with advice on how to handle the crazy aunt. The family has no idea they're being roasted online in real time by the quiet girl. 18. The living room television has been broken for 3 years and only plays one channel. The father refuses to fix it and says it builds character to watch whatever is on. But the secret is that the TV is perfectly fine and he just blocked the football channels. He wants the family to actually talk to him instead of staring at the game all day. He hid the remote control batteries in the freezer so no one can change the input. He is holding the entertainment hostage just to force awkward conversation. 19. An elderly uncle sits in the corner and smiles while nodding during heated political debates. Everyone thinks he has gone deaf in his old age, and they shout to help him hear. But he can hear perfectly fine and just fakes it to avoid answering questions. He ignores his wife when she asks him to take out the trash or wash dishes. He only responds when someone whispers about dessert being served. He has been playing the long con to enjoy a peaceful life without any responsibilities or arguments. 20. The house has the brightest and most expensive light display in the entire neighborhood. The electric bill should be thousands of dollars for that amount of power. But the dad dug a trench across the yard and tapped into the street lamp wiring. He is stealing electricity directly from the city to power his giant inflatable snowman. The neighbors wonder why the streetlights dim whenever he turns on his display. He is committing a federal utility crime just to win a plastic trophy from the homeowner association. 21. A grandmother claims she lost 20 pounds purely through prayer and positive thinking. She lectures the heavy relatives about portion control and self-discipline at the table. But the family dog has become morbidly obese over the last few months. The truth is, she wraps her food in napkins and secretly feeds it to the dog under the table. She creates a pile of greasy napkins on the floor while pretending to eat her vegetables. The poor dog can barely walk while she accepts compliments on her slim figure. 22. The family holds a democratic vote every year to decide who gave the best gift. The winner gets a special trophy and bragging rights for the next 12 months. But the dad has been rigging the election by creating fake email accounts. He votes for himself 50 times from his work computer to ensure he wins. He acts surprised when the results are read out loud. He is literally hacking a meaningless family poll because his ego is too fragile to lose to his children. 23. A trendy aunt is obsessed with becoming a viral star on the social media app TikTok. She sets up her camera in the kitchen and forces everyone to learn a dance. She screams at the grandmother for missing the beat and makes them do 10 takes. She posts the video with a caption about how much she loves her fun family. But in reality, she held them hostage for an hour until they got the choreography right. The family looks miserable in the background while she dances for strangers. 24. The family recipe book is treated like a sacred text that is kept in a safe. The pages are yellow and stained with age, and the handwriting is faded. But a curious daughter realized the recipes are just clippings from magazine ads from the 70s. The secret casserole is actually just a Campbell soup advertisement glued onto an index card. The legendary cake is a recipe from the back of a flour bag. The culinary legacy is just a collection of corporate marketing that the grandmother copied. 25. A responsible aunt claims she is the designated driver and drinks only water from her large metal flask. She judges everyone else for drinking too much wine and getting loud. But her flask is actually filled to the brim with straight vodka and ice. She sips it constantly throughout the night while maintaining a look of judgment. And by the end of the night, she's the most wasted person in the room, but hides it well. She is secretly fueling her tolerance while pretending to be the sober saint of the family. 26. The family goes to a beautiful lake house every winter for a bonding vacation. The dad tells the kids he bought the property as an investment for their future, but he actually stopped paying the rent on the place 6 months ago. He broke the lock on the back door, and they are technically squatting in the empty house. He tells everyone to, keep the lights off so the neighbors do not get suspicious. They are having a holiday vacation inside an active crime scene without knowing it. 27. The mother sends out hundreds of holiday cards with long, handwritten notes inside. She smiles as she licks the envelopes and says she loves staying in touch. But the notes are actually full of passive-aggressive insults disguised as compliments. She tells her rival that she looks brave for wearing such a tight dress. She congratulates a cousin on finally finding a job, even if it is low-paying. She uses the holiday mail to settle scores and insult her enemies while looking polite. 28. An outdoorsy uncle has a wall covered in mounted fish he claims to have caught. He tells thrilling stories about battling marlins and bass for hours on the open water. But his wife found his purchase history on eBay, showing receipts for taxidermy fish. He buys the trophies from estate sales and hangs them up to look manly. He does not even own a fishing rod and gets seasick on boats. He built an entire persona around a hobby he has never actually participated in. 29. The health-conscious mom lectures everyone about the dangers of chemicals and preservatives in food. She claims her turkey is organic and free-range and seasoned with natural herbs. But the secret to her delicious flavor is a giant shaker of pure MSG hidden in the spice cabinet. She coats the bird in the flavor enhancer when no one is watching. The family gets headaches after dinner, but she blames it on dehydration. She is poisoning them with the very chemical she claims to hate. 30. A generous aunt arrives with a car full of expensive gifts for every single person. Everyone opens their designer clothes and electronics and cries with happiness. But the next day, she asks to borrow the gifts back to check the sizes. She takes them all back to the store and returns them for store credit. She uses the money to buy thousands of dollars worth of lottery tickets for herself. The family is left with empty boxes while she scratches off tickets in her car. 31. A sweet grandmother gives everyone hand-knitted sweaters every single Christmas. She tells the family she spent hundreds of hours working on them with love. But she actually buys them at the local thrift store for $5 each. She carefully cuts out the original tags and sews in her own labels. The labels say, "Made with love by Grandma" in fancy red stitching. We are wearing used clothing from strangers, while praising her incredible knitting skills. She saves hundreds of dollars and gets all the credit for being talented. 32. The mother strictly banned anyone from buying DNA testing kits this year. She told everyone that the government uses the data to track citizens. But the real reason is that she is terrified of the results. There is a very high statistical chance that Uncle Steve is actually the dad's half-brother. She knows the family tree is more like a tangled bush. She threatened to burn any testing kit that enters the house. She is single-handedly holding the family lineage together with pure fear and denial. 33. A college student cousin announced she is now a strict vegan. She demands special meals and lectures everyone about animal cruelty at the table. But her veganism is actually just a strategic lie to avoid chores. She knows that if she is vegan, she does not have to wash the greasy turkey pans. She sits on the couch while everyone else scrubs the dirty dishes for hours. I saw her eating a beef jerky stick in her car before dinner. She is using a moral stance to get out of hard labor. 34. The family organizes a secret Santa gift exchange to save money on presents. They draw names from a hat to decide who buys for whom, but the mother rigs the drawing every single year without fail. She writes her own name on half the slips of paper in the hat. She ensures that the richest relative picks her name, so she gets the best gift. She pretends to be surprised when she opens her expensive designer bag. She is manipulating the holiday spirit to upgrade her own wardrobe. 35. The father used to go on long business trips to Ohio every December in the 90s. He told the kids he was working hard to buy them extra toys, but he was actually visiting his secret second family in a different state. He has a whole other set of kids who look exactly like us. He would eat 2 holiday dinners in 2 different time zones. The family found out when a stranger liked his photo on Facebook. He was literally living a double life while we ate mashed potatoes. 36. The daughters are fighting over who will inherit the grandmother's diamond jewelry collection. They try to be extra nice to her to secure the expensive rings. But the mother secretly sold the real diamonds 10 years ago to pay off debt. She replaced the stones with high-quality cubic zirconia from the mall. The heirloom jewelry is completely worthless glass, and nobody knows. The daughters are fighting a vicious war over shiny costume jewelry. The mother watches them argue and nervously drinks her wine. 37. A sophisticated uncle always brings a dusty bottle of vintage wine to the dinner. He talks about the notes of oak and berry and the aging process. The family sips it and agrees it tastes expensive and refined. But he actually buys a $3 box of wine from the gas station. He uses a funnel to pour the cheap juice into the old fancy bottle. He corks it back up and laughs at our terrible taste buds. We are drinking headache juice while acting like sommeliers. 38. The grandmother called a family meeting to discuss her final will and testament. Everyone expected to inherit the house or the vintage car or the stocks, but she announced that she is leaving her entire estate to her 3 cats. She set up a trust fund to ensure the cats eat fresh salmon daily. The human relatives get absolutely nothing but a framed photo of the cats. She trusts the animals more than her own greedy children. The silence in the room was louder than the cats meowing. 39. The father has been blaming his loud gas on the family dog for decades. Whenever a bad smell hits the room, he points at the poor golden retriever. But the dog actually passed away in 2010. He still instinctively blames the dog, even though it is not there anymore. The family stares at the empty spot on the rug in confusion. He refuses to admit that he is the source of the problem. He is literally ghosting his own digestive issues on a dead pet. 40. A paranoid uncle sits at the table with his phone face down near the centerpiece. He tells everyone he is just waiting for an important work call, but he is actually recording the entire dinner conversation on a voice memo app. He is gathering evidence of political arguments to use in a future lawsuit. He plans to sue the family for emotional distress if he gets cut out of the will. He smiles and passes the rolls while actively building a legal case against us. 41. A successful cousin comes home and brags about his massive promotion at a tech company. He talks about his stock options and his new corner office view. But his stories are all lies he constructed after stalking people on LinkedIn. He actually works as a barista and lives in a basement apartment. He memorized the corporate buzzwords just to impress the judgmental relatives. He is role-playing a successful life for one night a year. The family is proud of a career that does not exist. 42. The grandmother has a dangerous tradition of hiding coins inside the turkey cavity. She says finding a quarter in your slice brings good luck for the year. But she forgets to clean the coins before stuffing them into the bird. She is literally cooking dirty money inside the main course of the dinner. Last year, an uncle almost choked on a nickel during the toast. We are risking our lives for 25 cents and bacterial infections. 43. The fun uncle performs magic tricks to entertain the bored children at the table. He makes coins disappear and pulls cards from behind their ears. But his best trick is palming food off people's plates when they look away. He steals shrimp and rolls and hides them in his pockets for later. He leaves the dinner with a coat full of stolen snacks. The magic show is just a distraction for his kleptomania. The kids are amazed, but the hostess is missing half the appetizers. 44. The mother is famous for her flaky and buttery homemade pie crust. She accepts praise for her baking skills and shares her tips on rolling dough. But she actually uses store-bought Pillsbury dough. She hides in the bottom of the fridge. She unrolls it and throws some flour on it to make it look rustic. She dirties a rolling pin just to sell the lie to the guests. She has not made a real crust since the 80s. 45. The family has a wholesome tradition of going caroling around the neighborhood together. They bundle up in scarves and sing loud songs at every door, but the parents only do it to spy on the neighbors' new renovations. They peer into the windows while singing jingle bells to check the furniture. They judge the neighbor's interior design while pretending to spread holiday cheer. It is a tactical reconnaissance mission disguised as a musical performance. 46. The dad told the kids there is no money for a college fund this year. He blamed the stock market crash and the rising cost of living. But the next day, a brand new fishing boat appeared in the driveway. He used the entire education savings account to buy a vessel he named the Tuitions. He plans to retire on the water while the kids take out massive loans. He literally sailed away with their future degrees. 47. The grandfather is known for dropping profound wisdom and quotes during the meal. The family writes down his sayings thinking they are ancient proverbs, but he is actually just reciting lines from fortune cookies he saved in a jar. He reads them out loud with a serious voice to sound wise. We are taking life advice from a factory in New Jersey. He has no idea what half of them mean, but he loves the attention. 48. The dad secretly sets up microphones around the dining room before the guests arrive. He records the inevitable family arguments and the shouting matches. He edits the audio and uploads it to a private comedy podcast he runs. He has 0 listeners, but he dreams of becoming a famous internet star. He provokes fights just to get better content for his show. We are unwilling cast members in his failed media career. 49. The biggest bombshell came when the grandmother finally admitted the truth about everything. She revealed that the entire family recipe legacy is a total lie. Every single dish on the table was takeout she bought and reheated in the oven. The mashed potatoes were from a diner, and the turkey was pre-cooked. She hates cooking and has been faking it for 50 years. The family ate the delicious takeout in silence, past the potatoes before the fight starts. And that's it. 49 completely unhinged family secrets, guaranteed to turn any holiday dinner into a full-scale disaster. From mystery meals to hidden heirlooms, if even one of these slipped out at your table, the turkey would not be the only thing getting carved. Now, your turn. Drop a comment right now. What is the most insane family secret you've ever witnessed or accidentally exposed at a holiday dinner? The messier, dumber, and more unbelievable it is, the better, because I'm reading them all, and the wildest ones may end up in the next video. If this made you laugh, gasp, or side-eye your relatives, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chaos drop. And send this to that one cousin who definitely has secrets. You know exactly who.